Hey everyone, today we're gonna learn how to draw realistically using oil pastels. Oil pastels can be tricky to use to create realistic paintings, but today we're gonna learn how to do it with the least expensive materials and tools, even if they're not the best quality. The materials I use for this drawing are smooth gray paper. There's a myth that you need to use rough paper for oil pastels so that the paper can absorb more color. This is not true. You'll end up spending a lot of time and effort trying to fill in the paper's pores, and this applies to both oil and soft pastels. Banche oil pastels in thin sticks. I use these because they're affordable and easy to find. An oil painting knife. A blending pen. This is used to further blend colors and create smooth transitions. The first thing we're going to do is draw the background, which is just as important as any other part of the painting. A lot of people make the mistake of focusing too much on the portrait and neglecting the background. Next, we need to determine the light source. I use colored paper to make it easier to create the lighting. After that, I colored in all the highlights in the portrait to preserve them. Then I colored in all the shadows. Each color I applied blended with the color underneath. Next, I started adding the lighter colors one by one. In this portrait, I focused more on the large areas and the areas of light and shadow, rather than on the details of each element. More important than choosing the right color is paying attention to the light and shadow in the painting. Color value is more important than the color itself. There's an important rule that many people don't know, which is that when the light source has a warm hue, the shadows will always have cool colors. That's why we use blue colors in the hair on the left. Every time you add a new color to the painting, you need to go back and check the black color. A lot of people don't know this, but after I distribute the light and shadow and determine the colors in a basic way, I consider this to be the first layer and I use a heat gun to fix the colors on the paper. Oil pastels are basically made of wax, so they are affected by heat. When I use a heat gun, the color melts and sets on the paper. However, this method has the disadvantage that the color darkens a lot after it is exposed to heat. One of the advantages of this method is that it allows you to put more detail into the painting. Even white is very easy to apply over any other color. That's why the best time of year to paint with oil pastels is in the summer. There are different types of perspective, one of which is aerial perspective, which I used in a simplified way on the mountain in the background on the left. Aerial perspective is a natural phenomenon that occurs due to the Earth's atmosphere. The scattering of sunlight in the atmosphere causes visual effects on the appearance of distant objects, making them appear paler, hazier, and less distinct than nearby objects. Effects of aerial perspective. Color gradation. The farther an object is from the viewer, the lighter and paler its color becomes. Clarity gradation. The details of distant objects become less distinct and appear hazy. Contrast gradation. The contrast between colors decreases, and the edges of objects become less distinct. Use of aerial perspective in paintings. Artists use aerial perspective to add depth and realism to their paintings. Creating a sense of distance by using color, clarity, and contrast gradation, artists can create a sense of distance in their paintings. Directing the viewer's gaze. Aerial perspective can be used to draw the viewer's attention to a specific point in the painting. Adding a certain atmosphere. Aerial perspective can be used to add a certain atmosphere to the painting, such as a sense of calm or mystery. Examples of the use of aerial perspective in paintings. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. This painting shows a precise use of aerial perspective, as the landscape in the background appears hazy and pale, while the Mona Lisa's features are clear and distinct. Claude Monet's Sunset. This painting shows a great use of color to illustrate aerial perspective, as the colors become paler and cooler the further they are from the foreground of the painting. Edvard Munch's The Scream. Aerial perspective is used in this painting to add a sense of anxiety and tension, as the landscape appears distorted and hazy. Use a pencil to draw the eyelashes, eyebrows, and small details. We use the knife to scrape the color off the painting to create details, especially in the hair and eyebrows. We use blending pencils to finish off the small details and clean them by drawing them on a white piece of paper. As you can see in the painting, since the light is coming from the right side, I chose warm colors for the highlights and the areas of light on the right side, while the left side was filled with cool colors, which is especially reflected in the hair and the portrait. It is true that you can use turpentine instead of a heat gun to fix the color, using a brush or cotton swabs. I hope you learned something from today's lesson. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye.